welcome back. So I took a little gander, and yeah, it does seem like the M rarity is not as impressive as I thought. It is more for style points, though. I know people really like to have their decks swagged out, and yeah, the regular rare doesn't really have much in terms of an appearance, so yeah, I'm sure people are going to want those M's for all their triggers and things like that. I do plan on opening just another five for now, and I'll do a part three for the last five that I own. And maybe, mm, I doubt it, but maybe I'll do a small little, just like, okay, here's what the card pool is. I don't really think so. If I get enough views, maybe I'll go like, all right, here's the card pool for everything. The breakdown for clan. I got things organized a little bit up here off camera. Looks like they made a lot of SPs. Like, I don't know if it's like every triple R and every over rare has a SP version, but at least a lot of them do. Like, I was checking out TCG Player, and there's just so many pages of SPs. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to just stop. This is gonna take a while. Immediately, first card SP. I just also grabbed some of my other sleeves too, because I was running out of the other ones that I showed, the katanas. Ooh, that is some significant glare. Oh well. Yeah, I'll give a little close-up view. I got rare and commons for days. Got M, rare, commons. That's right, I moved this closer for a reason. Sorry, just moving my trash so I don't leave a big old pile like I did the last time. Another triple, rare, commons. But yeah, I think I did double check. Should be the fourth one of those. So hooray! I have this soul card. Which I don't think that guy has specifically had its debut on the show just yet. But I think as of right now, episode 7 is aired for the anime. And he did have like a restock to amp up his deck. So maybe a big fight's coming up right over the horizon. Who knows? But like I mentioned a little bit of the previous series and like the character. He was good at card games mostly because he had this supernatural ability to like talk to the cards and things like that. But there was almost always like an upcoming tournament, kind of like in OG Yu-Gi-Oh. There was always like another card tournament and challenges to overcome for the tournament. Like win this tournament and your club doesn't get closed down. Oh, win this tournament and this other thing can happen. So right now there doesn't seem to be any real conflict. Maybe by like episode 10 something crazy will start kicking off. We'll see. Another little double. Yeah, just make sure I didn't put an M in the wrong spot. EM. Double. For these gray units, there's two clans that didn't really seem to have like a police, like a jail mechanic or anything like that. Or at least one. There's a clan called Nova Grapplers. Can't really imagine them having a jail mechanic. Maybe it'll be like a headlock. It'll be like this thing is going to remain tapped as long as this card is on the field. That'd be kind of cool. Another one of these dudes. I feel like this guy definitely also has to be close to the 4 limit. I think it's called DSR. That is the rarity higher than SP right now. It's just a double. I think there's only 2 DSRs, and I have no idea what their drop rates are, but they are way expensive. There's so many of this one. I need the other clans, for Christ's sake. I guess I should mention, the over triggers are limit 1 per deck, and there's literally 1 per clan too. So the fact that I've gotten so many of that one is kind of annoying. I don't think I'm going to make freaking 4 decks of this guy. Yeah, you may only have 1 over trigger. You only have 1 over trigger in a deck. And since every card has to match your clan or your nation, you're kind of not many options. Unless in other sets in future expansions, they release other over triggers. But even then, it's like you only really need to have 1. If your whole deck revolves around the use of 1 specific over trigger, then unless your deck has a million ways to fetch it to your hand and then send it to graveyard and they benefit for it being in the graveyard, then I don't see a reason you would really need to replace any of these. Every box comes with a base over trigger. It's on your turn effect is literally pick a second creature to get plus 100 million bonus attack. So it's not amazing, but it is just there because they don't want people to feel left out. Every deck needs to have exactly 16 triggers, and if a deck has to have no over trigger, it's kind of a detriment. Yeah, little deck limitations are things like you can only have 4 cure spells or heal spells in a deck. Heal triggers. You have 16 triggers in a deck total. 4 of those can be heal. The other triggers, it doesn't matter. Because they just don't want you to run like a million heals and then you never die. Because that's just kind of BS. Then you can have exactly 4 or up to 4 sentinels in a deck. Because they don't want you, again, to be able to be like, I block every single attack from here until the end of time. Another nice little SP, grade 3 or grade 2 SP, my mistake. I think the highest value SPs right now are, of course, these guys, the over trigger SPs. This one's just my regular over trigger though. But at least it's 1 more nation down. What? I think there is exactly 1 that I don't have now, which is cool. That just means I can make 4 of the 5 different nations. Maybe I'll trade some of those extra Sanctum cards for the last guy. Rare. This double, right? Yeah. I'm a little far away from where I normally am to cards, but not by a significant amount, I don't think. There we go. There's a triple. Double. If I say double, no, it is a triple. Cool. Oh, there we go. I don't think I got too many of this guy. This guy is the side that's like if you have, instead of Bissell, if you're an Abyssal Dark Knight, and then there's also just straight Dark Knight. So you have to play 2 of those, make the world a darker place to live in cards, in order for him to get his full benefit. So many of this guy. So many. Too bad they don't just have certain triple or grade 3s that say like you could run as many of these as you want in the deck. But it only has a benefit if it's on rear guard, so you don't want to ever ride it. Well, now that they have the ride deck, I guess it doesn't matter too much if you did or not. Because you could just choose something else to be your Vanguard, then like have a million of those other dudes. Perfect guards. And sadly, because they introduced this other set of Vanguard, the older sets, like, they're pretty hard to trade off right now. There are still going to be tournaments for V and other stuff like that, but they're more or less... Oh yeah, here's the Dark World that I mentioned. In darkness, nobody knows. You Soul Blast it, choose one of your opponent's front and rear guards, retire it, and then if you have one of them in play, it's Dark World. If you have a second one or more, then it's the Abyssal Dark World. Definitely want to make a deck out of them. I might have miscounted or mislabeled stuff. I only got 4 of those. No, that goes there. There goes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like before. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was going to say, it's also cool that these don't even match. They're all completely different clans, but they're not. There's one double. Let's scooch you guys. Yeah. My local hobby shop is asking if people want to do tournaments for this already, but I think he's just trying to get evaluate the interest. If only certain people want to go on certain days in the future, then that works out because the tournaments can't be very big. But if the turnout or if the interest is incredibly low, might just like postpone till the next month, and once more people are finally more comfortable and more people have their shots, then he'll probably open up tournaments and stuff. But yeah, I know he's just tossing out feelers for now, which is good. I don't want him to go too heavy too quick and put anybody at risk. I'm absolutely itching to play. Oh, sorry, that's another overdress. What am I doing? Or over trigger. Hunt. Yeah, I think the blue one is the only one I have not pulled yet. The blue one's over trigger is a little different. It gives a permanent effect to the Vanguard, so I kind of do want to run a blue deck at some point. Right now, none of the grade 3s interest me too much. Even though I know like the main character's idol runs blue. Let's get that up just a little bit more. Another M. God, some of the foiling definitely looks amazing compared to before. So I'm glad they did this M rarity treatment instead of just allowing all rares to be either SP, which is stupid hard to find before. Yeah, another one of these guys. Definitely want to make the deck out of them. But yeah, I didn't like the idea of it just being SP or straight regular rare, because then it looks like you're either spending way too much money on your decks, or you are just running it because it needs to be done. Double rare. Scoot these a little bit. Ooh, Ooh, SP Perfect Guard. Oh, dang. That looks nice. I don't remember if the Perfect Guard SPs were that high up on the list, because they already have regular versions, M versions, and then SP. So it's 3 different ways to get the same Perfect Guards. I'm sure there's still people that just want to trick them out as best as possible. Didn't even think about it till right now, but I know when I used to play a lot more, people really wanted the higher rarity for their grade 3s, at least one of them, so that way every time they were playing, they would just swap out the less pretty one for the one that was as their Vanguard. So let's say their Vanguard was like the triple rare version, and then they pulled the SP, and the SP went to the graveyard. They'd be like, oh, I'm just going to switch out for rarity. So they put the SP into their Vanguard and the regular one, the triple rare, into the discard pile. So that way they just look cooler on the field. Which, like, no one opposed, because it's like you spent extra money on your cards. Like, why wouldn't we want you to enjoy them? But now that you have your own Vanguard deck, or, your grade deck, ride deck, that's the term. Then it's even easier to do that. It's like put the SP right there in that deck. It's not going to get shuffled or damaged or anything like that. And then put the lower rarities into the deck where it will get shuffled. So much easier to just appease the masses. Another M. Oh, sorry, got one more. What am I doing? So many of this guy. I have to assume he's not highly sought after, just because it seems like his drop rate is stupidly high. 4 and 5. Gotcha. I'm 90% sure this is my first SP Perfect Guard, so that's really cool. I'll be really happy for my first SP Overtrigger, though. That'd be great if that's actually the blue one. If my only SP Overtrigger is the blue one. Even though that means it has to get shuffled. Now that I think about it, I don't know if Japanese size cards have a perfect size sleeves. I know standard size does, and that's good because like Magic cards, especially like Commander decks, because they have so many cards, it just feels like they'll just from shuffling. But for like Japanese cards, the decks are usually so small and thin, you shouldn't have that issue. M, rare, normal. Ooh, there we go. Another nice little Overtrigger. I'm trying to see if there's any way for me to tell if there's a SP. I forgot the text box basically just vanishes if there's an SP. So that's neat. I could make the dragon deck based on the main character, and I could make my own different focus of the dragon deck, or dragon nation. M. Another little triple R. It always seems weird to me to see the grade 2s and stuff as a triple R, because in my mind I'm still thinking triple Rs are the replacement for VRs. In the older edition, yeah, triple Rs were often like grade 2s and 3s. They were very vital for decks to be built, but they all weren't the strongest cards in the clan. And the few times they were the exception, oh boy, they were crazy expensive. Yes. Oh, dip. SP of the Darkness. Hells to the yeah. Even gonna match sleeve. The little gray symbol. Gonna put the gray sleeve on it. Style points. Okay, M. Let's go there. I'm absolutely gonna have to see if I can make a trip out to my local card shop to do some trade-ins. Vanguard or triple rare. Triple rare. Yeah, this is the deck that I might try making with if it's my secondary. Goes in the wrong one because it looks closer to a different grade 3 that was in the previous series. The reason why a lot of these cards I'm expecting aren't going to be reprints from older sets is in the world that these cards are supposed to be from. Like, yes, there's the cartoon, but the cartoon takes place in Earth or on Earth. But all the cards are supposed to take place from a world called Cray. And so the Cray is made up of all these like kind of like warring factions, but they're not constantly at war with each other. But their battles are supposed to be influenced by Earth, by people playing Vanguard. And Cray is supposed to basically have had its big war conclude, and all these cards are pretty much 3,000 years, or all these newer cards are based off of things that are happening 3,000 years later than the other series. Oops, 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 oops. Do not put that there. So that's also why at the very start of the series you already have like these guys. They're kind of like the deities that were in the previous series. Just double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. There we go. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Then 1, 2. And last box for now. Yeah, this is a hell of a lot shorter video. That's cool. Maybe I could actually do the third one right now in my sitting. Meh, I doubt it. Yeah, I'm on a bit of a schedule today. Not too much though. I am a little unsure if my sleeves will last the entire way, but it looks like it'll be kind of promising. Okay, so I got a triple immediately. Yeah, those are one of the police girls. It's almost like one of the players should be Officer Jenny from Pokemon. Would not be opposed if there is crossovers. Another double. Oh, I almost made it into my trash box. M. Oh, grade 3s and M look great because there's no extra symbols all over it, taken away from its appearance. M. M. I know people have already gotten to see a little bit of the info from the next set, but I don't know if I want to be buying, nearly this amount of cards from the next set. I kind of wanted to like take a quick breather, see how this format plays out. There is a chance I want to be very disappointed in not jumping on board. Double. is. There's not the thing I'm looking for. Only a couple boxes left. I will be very sad if I don't get the over trigger at all for that clan. I guess I don't get to be the big brother. I don't get to lead the main character down this path. Yeah, yeah, the darkness, it calls to me. I know when these aliens were first introduced in the V series, there's like one guy who plays as them, and no one else has hardly even heard of that clan before. It was pretty cool. It was a nice little introduction to more or less like the supernatural. Like you already know like the main character has the superpower, but seeing other people like tap into it, it seemed pretty awesome. If you haven't checked out the show, I definitely recommend it. It is fun. Sure, some of the fights don't drag out like they do in like Dragon Ball or Yu-Gi-Oh or nothing like that. So it has a pretty decent pace. There are sometimes like a little high on the number of fillers, but for the most part, even the fillers are pretty interesting. The original series, oh my god, there were so many filler. Like I almost couldn't even remember where the story was at some points. It's like, are we still here? This has been like 5 episodes in the same little side plot. But they trimmed it down a little bit in the V series, almost to the point where people were like, why isn't this happening? Like they missed some of the series. They missed some of the side plots. Alright, well that is box, or that is the next set of 5. Only 5 left. And as I mentioned, there's only one higher rarity card that I have not reached yet, and there is only one over trigger card that I am still missing. Just need the one blue, my blue over trigger, so I can run that deck easily. But yes, wish me luck on the next one.